keep in mind about our contest. We'll throw
Sean Sautter.
Yep, Sean Sautter
Funny
picture.
show.
We'll throw the details in the description, but if you want to participate, you got to mail us something random. Address will be below as well.
They got a what?
Mail us something random.
Send us a thing.
Like something that we can throw on the desk here?
Or on the wall or in the front yard. Whatever.
Yep. He acts like he wasn't here for that, doesn't he?
Right.
Man, I don't even remember what color underwear I'm wearing right now.
Well, don't check his. I'm sitting next to you.
Yep, you got to mail us something random. The winner, if it's
Not
something
my
small
envelope.
enough, if it's small enough, will be
Unless
placed
you're a
on the
girl
wall.
and you're hot, then you can send us your underwear.
That's
Me.
I'll give you a different address for that.
That's its own context.
PO box.
Its own context. Well, he doesn't need those showing up at home.
Yeah. So, oh my goodness, we are technologically declined today.
Huh? Are we back in the Stone Ages?
Yeah. So I want to talk about Elon Musk again
Elon.
for the second
Your Wi-Fi
show in a row.
sucks.
Mr. Electric.
It's not so much. So he did this thing. He started a company, another company called the Boring Company. You guys familiar with this?
Boring?
The Boring Company.
Like desert boring.
It's a
Digging holes?
kind of technically, but it's a play on words. So what happened was he's driving around in traffic. He decides that he hates it and wants to go faster. So he decides he's going to start a company, raise the funds, and dig tunnels all over the country for people to drive through. The cars would run on like a rail system. They would go 125 miles an hour, and it's kind of like a subway.
Yeah,
but
I thought it was called Hyperlink.
that's the company
That's
that's going
gonna
to
be-
build the tunnels
Okay.
is the Boring Company.
Okay.
So somehow or another, as a joke, he starts with selling hats, and they're boring hats. They're like brown, and they say the Boring Company, and they start selling like mad. And since they start selling so ridiculously fast, as a joke, he tweets out, "If I sell 50,000 of these hats, I'm gonna start selling flamethrowers."
Mm-hmm.
Totally unrelated.
Saw that, yeah.
Totally unrelated, but it worked. So he hit his 50,000 hats mark, made a flamethrower, started selling it.
Yep.
Pre-order, he sold 1,000 of them in the first.
They're badass. I saw.
Yeah, they look cool as
picture of
shit,
them.
right?
At first, I'm like, that don't look like a fucking, like the generic. It's like.
It looks like some damn Star Wars gun.
Well, it's like it's easy on the eyes. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
not
Oh,
all.
it looks like something you would see in a movie. Like
It's not all primitive looking. You know what I mean?
No,
It's not Mad
it's
Max
cool.
Beyond that. I mean, this is like
Yeah.
a cool, like stealthy, like well thought out,
Special Forces
aesthetically
flamethrower.
pleasing fucking flamethrower.
Yeah, and
So that's what I want in my flamethrower.
Aesthetically pleasing.
right. So
Because it's going to hang on the wall. I ain't
Right.
going to use it.
within 3 hours,
Fuck is gonna hang on my neck. What the fuck?
within 3 hours, he starts selling the shit out of these things. He sold like 1,000 in 3 hours. It starts blowing up.
At how much a piece?
$500
Like
a pop.
$500 each.
And mind you, this thing is totally pointless. It's a flamethrower that really, has no function in life unless you're clearing tunnels in Vietnam or something. But
I
it
can
just-
think of many things I
Oh, I
would
could-
use.
I'll
Oh,
find a use for a flamethrower.
me and Brian would be using the shit out of our flamethrowers if we had a couple.
So, as of this morning, they started selling these on the 27th. Today's what?
What are you talking about?
Today's the 30th, right?
Yeah.
As he started selling them on the 27th. On the 27th, or since the 27th, rather, he's already sold 10,000 of them, or so, and he's only going to offer 20,000.
Of the
Total?
flamethrowers?
Yeah, but he's already pre-ordered
He's already
10,000.
sold
10,000 in
He's already
3
sold
days.
half
Yeah.
of what he's- yeah.
And
At 500 pop.
yep, and he puts out this tweet on the first day he started selling them. The rumor that I'm secretly creating a zombie apocalypse to generate demand for my flamethrowers is completely false. He tweets. So I think this is pretty crazy. And if you go to the
Elon Musk
website,
man,
So
whatever
this
he
shit's-
touches turns to gold.
dude, this shit's crazy. So if you go to the website, which is just put in the Boring Company flamethrower, and it takes you right to it. He puts in there the fire extinguisher is sold separately for an exorbitant amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
And if you read down at the bottom where it sells the flamethrower, it says the Boring Company fire extinguisher for $30. Buy an overpriced Boring Company fire extinguisher. You can definitely buy one for less elsewhere, but this one comes with a really cool sticker, and the button is conveniently right above it.
Nice.
And that's literally all this website has is a flamethrower and a fire
I
extinguisher.
could just imagine the look on my wife's face the day my flamethrower got delivered. She'd be like, "What's in that box?" She'd be excited at first.
You would literally be able. My wife's eye roll would make an audible noise.
Right?
It would be so fucking
Same.
hardcore.
Like,
fucking like
her
you
eyes
got a
would roll
flamethrower?
all the way around. Like,
he literally puts on the website. You can tell this dude's like, a nerd. May not be used on Boring Company decorative lacquerative hay bales or Boring Company dockside munitions warehouses.
the best part is that first she'd be excited because every package that comes to the house is from her. She's addicted to Amazon Prime. So, like, we get like 2-3 packages a day. So she'd be like, "I ordered something big. I must have forgot about it." No, that's my flamethrower.
Right.
And she'd just like, I can just see, like you said, the eye roll and just be like, "What do you need a flamethrower for?"
But literally,
just wait.
like you said, I mean, literally everything he touches turns to gold. I mean, I don't know.
Me and Kel are coming up with a list of things
Like in my head, I got like
that we're gonna use.
it's just
flamethrowers for.
yeah, my list is just flying right now. It seems like
Don't worry, babe. There are uses for this flamethrower.
bird dogging with the flamethrower. Oh,
Weed control.
right, weed control around my house.
Dude, absolutely.
Right? Weed control around the house.
Absolutely.
Neighbor control.
Neighbor control around the house.
Varmint control.
I could just see when the city of Coolidge is driving by my
told you
place
not
and
to
I'm
park
out front. I'm out front with the flamethrower taking care of my weeds while the city of Coolidge is driving by. Hey!
No shit. Like where I live, out in the country, like we get fucking a lot of weeds and shit, and I stored them up in my yard.
Stored them in his yard.
Well, I did. I had
just
like
stored them in my
I had
yard.
like piles of fucking tumbleweeds and shit.
I
And
just
finally-
call that not maintaining my yard. But
Well, no, but no, I would like
I'm
pull
creating
them
a
out and
stockpile.
kill them, and then put them in a big pile.
Never know when
So
there
I finally
might be a
went and
shortage.
Diesel on them to get and then a little bit of gas so it would because you can't
You can't just
do
straight
diesel. But so I'm fucking lit and they turned into like a massive
fucking
each
fire,
pile was
like
like,
giant.
and my neighbors started like fucking like cruising up and down our street and fucking
Nice.
like giving me shit and I'm like just burning weeds people like hi
Did you have a permit for that?
fuck no
Annie says she'd use it for
It was
husband control.
it was a no burn day, I'm sure.
You hear that? Annie says she'd use it for husband control.
fuck she's mean though. Your wife might use it for
Yeah, I
her.
was just about to say. I was just thinking,
like,
Misty,
yeah.
instead of
That
stabbing
would
you,
be
I
way
was
too
saying,
boring
it
for
would
her.
be easier
Boring,
than
get it?
stabbing. Like,
just melt your skin off.
Yeah. No, that would just there's just not the what do you call it the poetic part of it's just not there with like it is with a bladed weapon.
Right? I was still thinking.
ah!
Like at a scene, like out of True Lies or something.
Right?
Just-
But the cool thing about them too is they like all the military ones that you ever see on TV and video games and stuff. They're so industrial looking. This
Right.
thing looks like a damn Star Wars toy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like straight out of a stormtrooper.
I mean,
grasp.
Like, you could probably get into Comic-Con with it.
If you're gonna make a flamethrower,
Right?
why not make one with Scotch?
yeah, no
Exactly.
kidding.
It's like Doc Brown and the Time Machine.
One thing that
You can make a
nothing-
time machine.
Right?
Why not make it with style?
So, like, and then he posts up a video to show that, at least the prototype really exists and works and stuff, and it's him chasing his camera guy around with a flamethrower.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, I guarantee you it's not a fucking
Bird
gun
control.
or a piece of shit.
No.
Like, if he ties his name to it, like, it's gonna work.
And it talks about how,
Damn
like,
street cats.
there's something on the website that mentions something to the effect of, like, if it's
That
shipping
fucking rooster keeps
internationally,
waking me up in the morning.
if you're shipping internationally, there may be other fees and some laws may apply.
Oh,
It
shit,
says
right?
something. So I'm pretty sure that
Fucking say,
if our country's laws are okay with it, you can probably ship them bad boys just about anywhere.
I don't know, some of them fuckers are shitty about that kind of stuff.
Well, I don't know if the post office ever thought about someone mass producing and selling flamethrowers to the public. And they were, putting together okay, what do we need to focus on this year?
Yeah.
Flamethrowers. Yeah, how do we miss that?
And if they're sent dry, it's
You have to,
There's no
you have to
harm.
check the mark. Is
yeah,
it flammable?
no,
Absolutely not. Because
it's
you
not
know
worth the
what
fuel.
a flammable flamethrower
Oh
would be.
man,
Right? It's
danger.
like the opposite of fucking
Yeah.
flammable.
It's as non-flammable as it gets.
I don't know what kind of like fuel it uses, but I'm guessing they don't ship it with it because then that would be against the law for shipping the hazardous materials and stuff. But I mean,
Oh,
Hopefully
yeah.
it's just like unleaded or
that's what I'm
something.
thinking. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to come with the fuel. It's just the freaking the
What would that use?
parts.
Propane?
I have no clue.
Propane, butane, who knows?
Yeah, but to get the
Yeah, it'd
fucking-
have to be liquid
Mm.
to shoot out.
you need the high pressure fucking gas pump like fucking Schwarzenegger.
If you-
In True Lies,
Cook- right?
to get it to
Yeah.
shoot out there, you know, it's
Cook
gotta
some-
have some fucking pressure.
Cook some burgers with
If
it.
you
I want it to shoot from here to the other side of the fucking
Like just
room.
set up a grill out in the front yard and just 30 feet away. Chicken's done.
If you watch the video on it, it's literally like, I mean, it says it's a 10-foot flame,
Nice.
Oh, nice.
and it's more of a,
That's
I don't know how
for it. Nice.
I don't know how to describe it, but it's not quite as violent as like the military flamethrowers. But it's still, it literally sprays a flame at least 10 feet. It's pretty crazy. You gotta watch the video.
It'll fuck somebody up anyway.
Oh yeah, I mean, especially if you're within 10 feet, and if not, they're bound to go into a structure eventually,
Right.
and I'm sure it'll get you there. Make some nice custom paint jobs.
There we go.
Run it down the side of your car.
Yeah,
try to
me
paint
too. I'm
the
like,
bubble
what?
a little, maybe.
What is it that I have like sitting in my storage shed that I need to get rid of?
We could come out with our own
Burn.
little.
I got some. I got
Dude,
some.
we should
I
do
got
that.
old-
Will it melt?
At the fucking Relay for Life, we should fucking at the end of the night,
Just
once
flamethrower
once the
that
fucking
shit.
sledgehammers have,
Just
died
burn
down,
that,
just
burn that
flame
bitch
the
down.
shit out
Burn
of
the
that.
shit out of it all.
Yeah. Instead of smashing the car, you get to
Yes.
light that
I
bitch
got
up.
some old
like how Helen
refrigerators and
thinks.
TVs.
I got an old washing machine.
That's
I want to know what will melt, what will burn.
That's probably one of those things that we're probably only going to get to do once, and we probably shouldn't ask permission.
no,
Exactly.
you just do it.
No. It's gonna be at night.
My
Late at
wife
night.
hates it, but it's better to ask. It's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission.
And Helen said if it isn't violent, it won't be fun. So
Right,
There it is.
exactly.
Helen is
I'm just
cooking.
like I'm imagining a fucking dishwasher. I mean, a washing machine with just flames all over it now.
How long do you think it'll be before the first YouTube video of some guy in like firefighter turnouts with the Musk flamethrower
Right?
just lighting him up to see how long it'll last?
You could test out your fire suit.
Dude, I was just thinking that.
You
Like
can test out
literally,
your fire
we're here,
suit.
dude. We are
Dude,
right
we
here.
can do
I
it.
could put my full-blown fire
Full
suit
on
on.
fire suit.
You could fucking shoot me with it.
I could just totally see that. Okay, go for it. No, wait. Oh, okay, go. No, wait.
Dude, the owner and inventor of Simpson Race Products, back in I don't know the exact date. I would say back in the 70s, when he was trying to get on the scene and make his mark in the racing industry, to convince guys to use his product at the Indy 500. He was meeting with some guys and whatnot, and they were talking about this, that, and the other. And he's like, "Oh, you don't think my shit's flame proof?" He's like, "Here, I'll show you." He goes down and puts on a fire suit, dumps gas on his fucking own head, and lights himself on fire to prove his shit. And overnight, his fucking safety company went from a startup to fucking full-blown production.
It's like
And that's
the
without
same
internet
thing.
and shit.
Yeah,
To
no
make it
internet, no
viral.
fucking.
It's like the same
that's just
thing when
word of
they were
mouth.
trying to convince people that the bulletproof vest works. Oh, you don't
Right.
think this works? Go ahead. Put one on and they take a shot to the chest. I'm still here.
Right.
If we do that, though, you have to run around going, "Save me, Tom Cruise!"
Save me,
Jewish
Tom.
God.
speaking of testing their own product, you remember that guy made that I think bear-proof suit, and
Oh,
he
yeah.
had the like log swing from the tree to hit him, and had a truck hit him, and it seemed to do okay.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't remember that.
it was a fun video.
It was basically like the Michelin Man walking around. I mean,
It's almost a
there's no way
letdown
you
though
could-
if the video
yeah.
doesn't end with a grizzly bear.
Right?
Just
Did
go
they
on.
not have a bear?
They couldn't get
No.
a bear on short notice.
I think he
guess not.
tried, and the law got involved or something to that
He just
effect.
wanted to have a little more fun than
Fucking
the law would
PETA.
allow.
He wasn't going to eat it. He was just going to
Fucking
wrestle it
ruin
for a little
everything.
while. And even with the suit
Just
on, the bear was still
wrestling
going to
grizzly
win.
bears.
Wrestling grizzly bears.
So I don't know. It's just I think it's funny that he comes out with this company that sells these flamethrowers, and it's damn near. I mean, the dollar amount's lower, obviously, because of the price of the product, but it's more successful in his electric cars and shit in terms of volume. I mean, it's
Oh,
just
them cars are fucking expensive though, man.
the new model's $35,000.
Oh, is it? Have they come down? Like for a while, they were like
Yeah.
luxury.
I mean,
Way
that's
up there, yeah.
still a little out of my. But that newest one that just got released at $35,000.
Shit. Not bad.
It's just crazy when you stop and think about it. This guy just sold 10,000 flamethrowers at $500 a pop, and then when you do your math in your head, you're like, he made that much in a couple days.
Fucking
3 days.
like 3 days.
3 days.
And
I
he's only
guarantee he can put them together for $100 or less.
and he's only going to sell 20,000 of them in theory. I have a feeling that may change when you sell 20,000 of them in 6 days or
You
some
running the
shit.
math there, Hoss?
Because I always fuck up my zeros.
Yeah.
It's the round one with no lines through it or nothing.
No,
Fuck
some
you.
do.
Yeah,
Oh, you use the fancy one with the line through the middle to make sure you don't mistake it for an O.
and they're usually fatter than an O, or no,
$5 million.
narrower than an O.
In 3 days.
$5 million in 3 days on flamethrowers.
So it'd be 10 mil for the.
We're in the
total.
wrong motherfucking business.
Yep.
I told you guys from the get, we should make flamethrowers. We're like,
You
no.
could have went down to fucking
So,
Ace.
He'll end up with a 10 mil
Got some
total.
pipes and shit.
We're talking probably tops. He's got 50 to 100 grand invested in parts and maybe another 100 grand
I'm sure
invested in production
Hey, raw
facility.
material. I mean, I'm sure he had all the tooling and all the fucking,
He probably called up some damn flamethrower manufacturer and had said, "Hey, can you make these? But
put
make
my
them,
name on it. Yeah.
Can you make that shit look like it came from Star Wars, but do the
Right.
same thing?" And
Like,
not
take
blow-
this black ugly
Yeah.
piece of shit and fucking color it, put some color on it, some little accent fucking deals.
Like you said, it might cost him a couple $100,000 to make these flamethrowers, and he's gonna make 5 million selling them. That's
10.
nuts. 10 million.
10
Yeah,
million.
10 million selling them.
So, imagine the warning label that comes in that box
Mhm.
to keep
The box is the one.
The-
box,
yeah.
the whole.
The whole box is just writing all the way around the whole box.
It's
in
probably-
in 3
Have
languages.
you guys ever?
It probably comes with a
lately?
lawyer actually pops out of the
Right.
box. Don't put it over there. Not there neither. No. Don't put it at your kids.
Have you guys been to Europe?
No.
Like
Not
packs of
for a
cigarettes.
while.
Packs of cigarettes in Europe, like 2/3 of the fucking pack of cigarette is the fucking warning.
Oh,
label.
it's the one. Yeah, it's the warning label.
And like on the cartons, for 80% of that is fucking
It's
like
warning labels.
little bitty ass label on the side over here, and on the whole rest of the thing is
The warning.
this will kill you, fucking.
So it's like California.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
crazy,
like California,
crazy.
that they are.
There's a big ass
'Cause
sign
you know-
when you go into Disneyland that says Disneyland causes
Cancer
causes
is known
California.
in California to cause cancer.
Wow.
Yep. Some of the
Disneyland?
Disneyland, literally, it has a sign at every entrance that says there's chemicals in this facility that have been known to cause cancer.
That have been known in the state of California. If,
Right.
if you're in Nevada and you have these chemicals,
Those chemicals
you're
are
fine.
no problem.
But if these chemicals
Yeah.
are in California, you might get cancer.
And then there's a sign right below that says no smoking.
Seems
They're gonna
legit.
start selling beer,
Oh,
They all-
Disneyland?
like a tavern.
Yeah.
They have for a while.
No,
It's
but like
just
a full blown tavern.
Yeah. Well, they have California Adventure has what 5 bars.
No, well,
This one's like a brewery, but they have a winery. They can you can drink in California.
Did you
Just not
guys-
in Disneyland.
Did you
this
guys
is
see
in
that?
Disneyland.
In Disneyland.
In
Did you guys see that our Harkins over here applied for a liquor license?
Yeah.
It's one of
Oh.
3 Harkins that are testing out selling alcohol at the theater.
If they get approved, right?
If they get approved, yeah. Harkins is wanting to see about making all their theaters that be able to sell alcohol, so they're testing in 3 theaters, and ours is one that was picked.
That's because all those other ones
Maybe
like
movies
Alamo
more
and
often.
whatnot are popping in.
Oh yeah,
so
Alamo's making they're doing so well and stuff, and Harkins like we got to get on that.
that one at
I
the
met the
casino.
guy that has that. He's got one in Tucson and one up in Phoenix. Those theaters that have full blown restaurant and
Mhm.
alcohol and stuff.
Yeah, so like when we're talking about the Alamo Draft House Theater, that's what they do there.
This one's a different one though. I think
Yeah.
you're talking about. It's
So
Yeah.
it's
My
that
wife-
same concept.
My wife was working with that guy's wife, and we had like a
Weird sex.
Somebody
They
was
have-
somebody was yeah,
Yeah, they
somebody
have
was
like
retiring, so there was like a
Quattro.
company party, and so
they have like waiters and shit who will take your order during the movie
Yeah,
to bring
yeah.
you your food and stuff, or if you need refills or whatever, you just call the
You
person
raise,
at the
raise,
end of
raise
your
the flag.
Yeah, like get a hold of the person at the end of the row and tell them what your order
Flash
is or
your
whatever.
guy.
fucking flashlight.
Yeah, and
Hey,
they go
hey,
and get it and bring it back to you.
popcorn here.
Well, I'm guessing there's probably like an extra space in between the seats for the servers to move through and stuff if they're
I don't-
bringing you
There would
food
have
and
to be
shit.
a lot of
Or-
walk room.
Or are we doing fucking ballpark things and someone's passing hot dogs down the line? Yeah,
I don't know
pass
if
it
that
down,
sounds
pass it down.
really cool or annoying as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's the best or worst thing ever.
Well, it depends on how many drinks you've had to how you feel about
Like, yeah, that's true.
it.
Somebody was saying like the one that's out there at the casino in Maricopa, like it's really cool, except they have lights on every little table so that you can see what you're eating and stuff, and it kind of takes away from the movie
Oh, yeah,
because
'cause,
everything's
yeah,
kind of
those,
glowing.
Yeah, that bit of a lights
So
everywhere.
maybe that's not where you go to see the opening of Star Wars, but
No.
I don't know.
It's where you take the wife to go see fucking the love letter or whatever.
The love letter.
The shit, you don't care if you can see what's on the screen. You're just going to focus on your food. I like it. But yeah, I thought that was interesting when I saw that. I was like, all right, Harkins.
Yeah.
I'm down.
I'll
Hopefully,
have
yeah.
a beer next time I go.
Right, like, I don't
Matinee.
know. Grab me a matinee. Grab me a beer.
44-ounce beer.
Heck yeah. Drinking.
Right.
Do the courtesy cups still work? Or the
Right?
Or do they have their own courtesy
Those
cups?
things just
$1.50
became
refill.
Right?
just even more valuable.
What if they had their own
Any of them
courtesy
should be
cups
free
just for the
refill.
alcohol? Or yeah, or even if
Free
it's just a
refill,
free
same
refill,
visit.
like with the large drink, you get a free refill with your same visit.
It would
same
have
as-
to be like a fucking glass stein or
Like
something.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1.
That'd be awesome.
Yes.
And then you're gonna start going to the movies, 4:00 matinee, and there's gonna be a bouncer at the door.
Like, where have you been? At the movies.
What are you
Ask-
drinking today? Of course, I went to the movies. What do you think?
It was a good movie.
What'd you
Ask
see?
your
I'm
ticket.
not sure.
Ask for your ticket, check your ID, see if you're on the list. It's gonna get crazy. So what about the XFL?
That is a thing.
It
Some of
was
us,
a thing.
Already
some of
been a
us
thing.
might remember back in 01.
Big time. I was the
Was it?
biggest
Has
fan.
it been that
It's
long?
been that long.
2001.
Mr. Vince McMahon said, "You know what?
He hate me.
Yep.
Yep.
Smart.
That's the
Rod Smart.
Rod Smart.
He ended up in the NFL after the XFL.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He played for like 7 years in the NFL after
Really?
the XFL folded. Yeah.
Nice.
His real career was with the Panthers, and it was predominantly special teams. But I think he led the team in special teams tackles.
I'm all for it.
I think
So-
he returned a punt for a touchdown.
So sorry for interrupting.
No problem.
Give us the spiel.
So Vince McMahon, back in 01, said, "You know what? I'm gonna make a football league." And contrary to what everybody on the fucking internet is saying, he never wanted to combat the NFL. It wasn't a, "Oh, I'm gonna take the NFL down."
That's how you really
It was, hey,
feel, John. He's
let's
mad
give
at
the-
internet.
John hates that fan.
He
Yeah,
hates
fuck
it.
the
He
internet.
Fuck the fans.
Whoever
Fuck
the
the
fuck
fans.
said that,
Fucking
fuck
fandoms
but
ruining it.
it was supposed to be extra football.
you. NFL fanboy.
Not right now, but it was supposed to be football when there was no football, and it was supposed to be different. And
So wait,
Yeah.
wait. It was supposed to be football when there was no football.
it was
in the
after the
off-season.
NFL. In the
Oh,
offseason.
they had, like, play in the
The
summer?
XFL season was during the NFL's off season. So you had pretty much year-round football if you watched both leagues.
Fuck. You're gonna make them play in the summer? That's hot.
Home field advantage, son.
Right? I mean, hey, they're not playing in blizzards.
Green
and
Bay
shit.
does
Yeah.
it. Not really the summer, but
No.
San Francisco in the 90s, whenever it rained, that field turned into a mud bowl.
or earthquaked.
But
The ground is
Could
moving.
you tell that there was
This is
an
making the
earthquake
game difficult
in
to
the middle of the game, though, if you're on the field and you're just running around slamming into people? Would you know that there was an earthquake, or would it just feel like you were in,
Like, that was a hard hit!
right?
You're the quarterback. You go to throw and you get plowed by some big ass fucking end, and then all of a sudden you wake up and shit's still shaking, and you're like, "I need medical."
right?
Medic!
You're like, concussion protocols!
so, what do you guys think is the reason that it failed? I have my theory, and I'm pretty sure Danny's on board with it.
Lack of a following?
It had a decent following,
The ratings
first
to begin
anyway.
with were
really good.
extravagant.
Yeah.
The big thing I think was, I think the professional, the announcers for other sports networks and
And
stuff
news
that didn't
writers
give a
and
shit
stuff.
about it killed it by basically convincing the public that it
That
was
it sucked.
WWE. It was going to be scripted. It was
Yeah.
going to be bullshit.
Yeah, I remembered
it
a lot of
was-
that talk that like it was gonna be, it'd be
Yeah.
scripted, like they already knew what team was gonna win. It was, it was gonna be setups, and
So
none of it was real. The players were in on like when, like, oh, so and so's gonna cast this giant, long pass this play, like the same way they do with wrestling. When they're in the clinch, he's like, okay, now you're gonna
You mean
do
like how
this
they do
move
with
on me.
how they do with the Patriots?
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty much.
exactly.
Yeah, pretty much. It was
So,
gonna be all
basically-
Patriots.
so
Like,
basically
Yeah, that's
the
another thing the
networks,
NFL stole from the XFL.
right?
So basically the networks get together and they're like, hey, they don't really want us part of this, and we don't really want to lose the revenue, so let's knock the shit out of them.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
And also, I just wonder at that time, was football big enough of a fandom to handle 2 leagues.
I tell you what,
Because
I
it,
don't know.
it's
I tell you
fucking-
what, there's a fucking hell of an opportunity for an alternative to
Right now.
fucking NFL.
Right, like
right
I'm saying,
now.
like right now is the time to strike. Because I mean, not only is football as at its most popular that's ever been, it's also has the most controversy it's ever had.
Well,
right now, the NFL does.
Then you also, I mean, like, Arena League picked up really big for quite a while.
Yeah.
They're holding strong right now. I mean, they don't have the following anywhere near the following the NFL does,
Yeah.
but I mean,
But I mean, they're also
If
they're
their
also
only selling point was that our players won't kneel, and we will run the ad for the veterans to support not kneeling and supporting black. Like if that was their only advertising, they would pick up fucking 500,000 people tomorrow.
That is on the list of what the XFL.
I'm not saying I'm not for or against either way, but I'm just saying if that was just their platform.
I think one thing, like we were talking about earlier, one thing they could do that would be huge is offer it to one of the streaming services instead of putting it on a network.
Yeah.
Like if it was a Netflix thing.
Oh,
or YouTube.
Netflix
yeah.
or Hulu or YouTube or Amazon or something. And that
How many
thing-
people are complaining like that you can't, if you don't pay for television, you can't watch Monday Night Football and that kind of shit. You know what I mean?
Arena football, I think, was what helped it along. Is first off, it was a shorter game,
That's another thing.
And a
on the
lot
list.
more
a
action.
lot more action, and plus you didn't have to have that many people because you were doing it in little arenas. You weren't doing it in giant ass stadiums.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Have
you
guys
didn't
ever
have to
been-
have that big of a crowd to make it work.
Have you been to an Arena League game?
Yeah.
And I believe, my personal opinion, I love the NFL, die hard, can't live without it. In person, Arena League football is much more
Way
exciting.
better.
Oh yeah.
Much more exciting.
Football, NFL football is way easier to watch on TV
You're right.
because you're only getting the good shit that's going on. You're not, when you're there, you don't even see half the stuff that's going on.
You're craving commercials.
Yeah.
In Arena League football, you sit up against the glass, like in hockey.
Mhm.
And if that player gets close enough to the wall, the crowd will reach down and fight the ball out of that fucking player's hand. And that is perfectly acceptable.
Really?
And if you manage to get the ball out of that player's hand,
It's yours.
you get to keep it. Have you ever seen what happens if a
Can
ball
you jump on the
accidentally-
field and run the other way?
Have you ever seen what
Maybe.
happens if you accidentally catch a ball in a stadium at an NFL game? Security runs over and snags that
run over and
motherfucker
get
right
that
out
from
your
the
hands. It's crazy, but they literally. I've sat in the second row for a bunch of games and watched guys just hammer and fight and punch football players, and that's part of the game.
You know what? You know what was my favorite part of the XFL? The ball. That shit looked
Yeah.
badass.
Oh yeah.
Red and
Oh,
black
yeah,
ball.
yeah,
That
I
thing was
remember
fucking sick.
Did you
that
know
red and black
they had
ball. I
the-
had one.
They had to take sandpaper
awesome.
to them.
Oh yeah, because they were too
They were
smooth.
too smooth.
Too
Yep.
smooth. They're slipping through everyone's
Oh,
hands.
yeah.
That ball was badass. I love the ball. I went and bought one from Walmart like
You know
the
what make
day
it?
after.
You know what
fucking
make it
the
really
XFL started.
badass? They allowed flamethrowers.
Yeah.
Flamethrowers.
A lot of people's complaints /
Like you
I
don't
guess-
have an O line, you just have the flamethrower line.
fond memories or whatever.
Special teams.
It's stuff I don't remember from the XFL.
You gotta. Is it illegal to jump over the flamethrower line? You can't.
Yeah.
You have to. If you clear it, you can't touch the flames. Otherwise, it's a penalty.
Yeah, it is.
Was all the showmanship, the WWE flair.
Mhm.
And I went back and watched the very first game today. And
The first game that they switched halfway through because there was a more interesting one going on.
that was
I remember watching the first day. There was one game, and like halfway through, they switched to a different game because the first one was like a blowout, and the other one was going really well. I remember that on the first day of the XFL.
well, this might not have been
This
the TV
did it.
feed.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
was
know.
the TV feed.
But I saw what I don't remember, but the whole one thing that's not going to be in the new one is crossover talent. You're not going to see Jim Ross or anything doing voice talent and
commentating,
everything. But it did have Jesse Ventura and the cheerleaders were kind of a little over the top. And there's one part where a cheerleader was interviewed.
Top heavy?
No, just over the top of, oh, look at us, we're on the movie The Replacements. That kind of thing. You guys remember that movie?
I'm not against
Yeah, I
it.
remember the movie.
Okay.
Bring
No,
that
I
shit
agree.
back.
I'm thinking like just give me a football version of basketball. And I'm
There we go.
down.
But yeah, one of the cheerleaders interviewed the
Remember the
quarterback
cheerleaders
for,
in that one?
I think it was Las Vegas' team, and it felt like a WWE promo,
Yeah.
kind of. But all that is going to be gone by the wayside, so all
So
that's going to
they're-
be left is the good football.
They're trying to.
I liked when they did let the players whatever they wanted on their jerseys. It didn't have to be your name. Like, you hate me. Like,
I think one dude did have
That's
your name
hilarious.
on his jersey.
yeah, it probably had your name, but it didn't have to be their actual names. Like, that was kind of funny. But then, like, I mean, that's one of those things. Like you want the player to be, recognizable. Do you want them recognizable for their name or for whoever they were, whatever name they put on there?
Right.
But like some bullet points of what we do know about the 2020 is when it's coming out version. Vince doesn't have any partners this time. He says either I can walk away saying I screwed it up or I made it a success. He's not gonna have to make decisions based on what other people say. There's gonna be 8 teams, 40-man rosters.
8?
8. And it's gonna be
What
10,
are they? Do they know what they are?
they don't even know the cities yet.
Okay.
It's gonna be
Los
10.
Angeles, New York.
Well, shit, that would
Maybe.
give Los Angeles, 3 second football team, 4 football teams, some shit.
They said
That'd be
they're-
funny. It would be funnier if it was like Wichita,
Hoboken.
Yeah. Like,
Hoboken.
cities that have real no.
Yeah.
Fucking Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yeah.
Fucking
Columbus, Ohio.
They said-
Coming at you.
They said large and medium-sized markets, so we might see a football team in Kentucky or something.
That's what I almost wish they would do. That is like fill in the fucking holes with I
New
mean,
Mexico needs a team.
it's a double-edged sword
Right.
because like
Idaho.
they want a built-in fan base, but yeah, I mean they need to spread the love around. Like, yeah,
Boise.
a fucking. I mean like Nebraska for being a big
Nebraska?
Nebraska and
Nebraska
Iowa have no
Nebraska.
professional teams. Like
Yeah.
no football, baseball.
Same
basketball.
Kentucky and New
I mean,
Mexico.
And that sounds good and all, but you also got to remember they have to have a fan base, otherwise it doesn't work.
Right.
If they don't have enough people in the area to support the team, then
If you throw a team in like
that's why LA
Albuquerque,
can have 5 million teams.
Right.
if you throw a professional sports team in an arena in like Albuquerque, you're gonna have a fan base because if nothing else, what the fuck else is there?
There's not
Yeah.
much.
Well, I mean, that's
It's
what
like I'm saying in Nebraska, like not every, more than half of the houses in fucking Nebraska have Cornhusker.
I was gonna
fucking
say
flags
go by the
and
college
shit.
teams.
I mean, it's everywhere.
And
Well,
more
that's
than
It's
and
all
more
they
than half
got.
and more than half of the linemen in the NFL came from there.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy.
Not literally, probably,
Yeah,
but
but
a shit
I mean,
ton of them.
College is a completely different animal than anything professional, though. College fans are crazy about their colleges, man. Like, it's just nuts. So that's way different. But I just think that it'd be hard to sell that in the low markets. I mean, it just depends on where your money's coming from. Where's your
Right.
revenue? Is your
That's
you
true.
said, it depends on who's putting these on the air. Where are you watching this at?
Right.
That's where your revenue stream comes from. I mean, what they make from the fans going to the game is peanuts compared to what they get from the TV, from what they make from having it on TV.
Yeah, 'cause
Well,
That's
they
what the
have
real
to-
money is the
They have to,
TV,
they have to
the
put forward a bunch
advertising.
of money for the stadiums and all that.
To a certain
shit, whereas-
extent, ticket sales go to the team pretty
Mhm.
much. Anything on TV goes to the league. Well, there's not going to be team owners. It's all going to be owned by the league. So any ticket sales and media revenue and stuff is all going to go to the league.
So you can't get like a Jerry Jones that comes in and
Right.
says, "I don't like the way you're doing things. Let me powerhouse my way into it and change the rules and shit."
Right.
So there's
And when you say buy the league, it's just him.
so Vince McMahon's gonna own all.
He
the
owns
teams?
all the teams. There's no other owners. There's nothing like that. He owns the whole league.
No
the teams.
franchises. At least not for the first season. Who knows?
Who knows down the road?
He might
if-
allow
yeah.
expansions to be owned by owners at some point, but
Which then he would still, if it goes by team for votes, he would outrank all of them with votes. He can
Right.
make whatever decision he wants. Oh yeah, there's 4 expansion teams. I still own the original 8. I got 8 votes to your 4. Fuck you.
That would be a little hard.
Sorry, ABA.
That would be a little hard to like. If I'm the one dude that comes in with my own team and every other team in the league belongs to you, and every time I lose, it's gonna be like because you made me fail.
Honestly, I don't give a fuck if I make money.
Fucking-
Like
That's true.
that's the basis of being a sports team owner.
Right.
You don't give a fuck one way or the other as long as you make money.
well,
That's why they get upset when certain players can't play because they know they're not gonna make as much money if Tom Brady's not on the field.
Right.
You know, like
Well, like right now, there's the huge thing with Des Bryant. They want him to take a pay cut to stay in Dallas.
to stay
He's
in
like-
Dallas
and
because
he's
he
like-
makes their money.
Yeah.
But they don't want to pay him.
Well, he doesn't
make their
deserve the
money.
pay. He sucks. And that's the whole thing is they're like.
I don't get the vanity there. Like, dude, you are a has-been. You have been a has-been.
The sad thing is
For a while.
he's pretty much never was.
Yeah, no.
He came in the first season and they're like, oh, he's miraculous at catching. Oh, there was 2 amazing catches this season. We got to keep him forever. Let's give him $80 billion.
He has like 7 great highlights over his whole career, but that is his career.
Not making catches.
And now the guy in the green vest at the end is catching more balls than him, and it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I mean, he has like 5 amazing catches, and that's like his whole career. That's what they show every time.
Right.
Like, look how amazing Des Bryant is the same 5 catches. That's
But if
all
you
he's
hit him
had.
in the numbers, he fumbles it and throws it halfway
Cole
across the
Beasley
field.
could have at least as good a 5-catch highlight
Oh
reel.
shit!
Oh, yeah.
You could take
the
take
the neck one.
right, yeah, you could take any of the mediocre wide receivers throughout the whole league that have had 7-8 year careers and find 5 amazing catches that they did to
Right.
make it look like they had an amazing. If that's all you show,
Yeah.
they had an amazing career. Look at these crazy catches this guy made. Well, those are the only fucking 5 they made in 8 years. But
Well, what's really
it's all in
crazy is
context.
they told him to take a pay cut to stay, and he's like, absolutely not. And then Jason Witten comes up and he's like, I did it. And
Yeah, right.
he's like an icon. He's the Dallas Cowboy
Yeah.
right now, and he's like, I took a pay cut. Romo took a pay cut, or he would have been gone years before he was. Why can't you do it? And he's like,
Well,
fuck that.
here's the other thing.
Man, they fuck him.
I'd say, well,
Who out there's gonna
So
pay?
who-
Who out there's gonna pay what he wants to have?
Right.
Not
That's
a
the thing.
fucking, not a
Yeah.
fucking.
Who out there
He's
is gonna
not going
pay
to get
that?
half of what. I mean, he's not even going to get close to what the pay cut was.
Like
Right.
he's making what he's making, like you said, because
What's up,
he's a
Chris?
name on the Dallas Cowboys.
so,
But he's only making that on the Dallas Cowboys.
yeah.
Unless he goes somewhere like Cleveland or something, maybe they pay him a lot of money.
Speaking
But
of
they have
Dallas
it.
Cowboys news that I was pretty excited about that hopefully turns into something. Emmett Smith has a junior that's in high school this year that just signed with the Gators.
Oh, Florida?
Yeah,
Yep.
which is where Emmett got his start. He's a little bitty bastard, just like Emmett was. So it'd be pretty badass if he breeds another superstar running back,
That'd be awesome.
and maybe he'll play in the XFL.
Who knows?
Would I put
So-
him?
Emmett
what
might
are-
disown him. If that
Are
happens.
they their talent pool? What's their target? Like,
Pretty much.
are they going to try to like?
Pretty much. I
Because
mean,
they won't so much be competing against the NFL because it's going to stay what it is.
They're going to get
They're gonna be
leftovers.
competing.
they're gonna
against-
get. I think they'll get a lot of the guys that didn't make the final cuts.
Well,
Yeah.
like
You
I
know?
said, they're going to be
They
competing
got
against
drafted,
the
but didn't.
Canadian League and the Arena League for
Right.
talent, right?
I would assume
Not,
so.
not really. I think because the Arena and Canadian leagues pretty much get undrafted talent, and
Mm-hmm.
if
unworthy.
let's say wide receiver Joe Schmo gets drafted to the Broncos and doesn't make the 55-man roster, he gets cut. Okay, I can go play for Denver's XFL team, or I can go to Canada. I'm going to go see if the XFL team wants me. And you're going to get players that have recently retired or at the end of their career,
That
and
still
they're
wanna
riding
play?
the bench.
Yeah.
But if they go to the XFL, they have a chance of continuing to be a star for another year or two. Like, you're going to probably see Tim Tebow.
I was thinking that.
Dude,
Tim
I was
Tebow's
thinking
probably
that.
going to be their
Dude,
post-retire.
If he doesn't fucking get fucking
Tebow
And-
put
come
on
out
a
of it.
team, it's going to
Johnny
be a
Football
travesty.
would be, except for Vince McMahon said there is going to be 0 criminals in my league.
Oh,
Even if
really?
you have a DUI, you're out.
Really?
So that should count.
So Tim
Johnny
Tebow's going to
Football
be
out.
the only one.
Pretty
playing
much,
football.
yeah.
Playing football, pretty much.
And another thing that he's not going to stand for is people that don't stand for the national anthem. He said, absolutely, you don't stand for my national anthem, you're not going to play in my league.
Well, because at that point, it's his playground. All
Mhm.
teams owned by him.
Mm-hmm.
He can.
He might even come up with his own
They'll be what?
anthem.
Yeah, who knows?
Would you be surprised?
If you don't shave your ass and dye your hair purple, you're not playing my league.
Right? At that point, your employees.
Everybody must have a shaved ass.
Do you
in my
mean
league.
like the hair that came off of your ass? You have to dye purple?
No, what's left up in the front.
Uh,
You got to go pubes purple, ass shaved.
Yeah,
Okay.
those are pubes. That's hair. There's a difference there.
You're going to have to draw a diagram later on. There's going to be no cheerleaders.
None?
None.
Really?
See, now you lost me right there.
I think
I'm
it's
out.
because so many people bitched about the cheerleaders from the.
I
first
told you
try.
I want basketball
And-
cheerleaders in the
And,
NFL.
and
Like,
honestly,
What's wrong with
honestly,
the
though,
you know-
honestly,
know
do you
there's-
do you
there's
go
a
to
couple
an NFL
strip
game
clubs
going,
nearby.
I want to see them cheerleaders? No, you
Yeah.
don't.
you
Shut
know,
up.
there's a couple strip clubs nearby who's, that their girls need a little extra work. Why are you taking work out of their hands?
In the NFL, unless it's a Cowboys game, when's the last time you saw a cheerleader?
You can't make all of your money on the pole.
For 2 seconds before like 1 or 2 commercial breaks.
Yeah.
I mean, this poor girl's in medical school.
Good enough.
Help her out,
Yep.
Vince. Help her out.
She's got mouths to feed.
Something else you
Brian can't be the only
They
one
could-
supporting her.
They could do like oh no, he said no criminals. Never mind. I was gonna say they could do like the longest yard. But he said no criminals.
Get the women's prison.
So
Yeah,
something
that
else
was
you
Ben dressed like women in the longest yard.
Oh yeah,
That's
it was.
right.
It was. Yep.
so you won't see that, and something else you probably won't see is a halftime.
I'm totally
At least
okay with that.
not an extended one. He thinks 3 hours
Why-
is too long to
why
sit in
can't-
front of the TV and watch football. Game.
Why can't you have the same amount of time in between the halves as you have in between the quarters?
And
Do
see-
you really need to go back to your locker room
And just think
spend
if,
all that time back there?
if you did that, if you shortened them up like that, you could seriously have double headers.
Yeah.
Whew, that's asking a lot, though, man.
I'm talking like two games.
Two different teams.
Yeah. I'm
Four
not
different
talking
teams.
like the Cardinals have
I'm
to
like,
play.
fuck, man.
No, it's not baseball doubleheaders. He means you could get more teams playing on a day.
Right.
So
So,
it's
I mean,
gonna be
what's
a-
the most frustrating
fast
thing
pace.
when you're watching the NFL and you know there's like 7 teams playing, but you can only watch one? Like, why is only one channel? But I mean, yeah, you could fit more games in. But I mean, you only have 8 teams though, so I mean, it shouldn't be
Are
hard
they,
to have
Have
4
they said
games
what-
a day.
Is this going to be full-size field?
It should be. I haven't heard, but
The original one was a normal field.
Yeah, it was a normal field. I like some of the different rules that they had in the original
Was
ones.
that-
The way you were, some of the
that the one
rules
that-
on like moving before the ball was snapped and stuff that you could do to get,
Mhm.
you know, that was pretty cool.
Or was it the New York, New Jersey Knights? Was that one of the teams? Or was that something
Hitman.
else?
That's the Hitman.
New Jersey
The
Hitman.
New Jersey
Yeah.
Hitman.
What was the New York, New Jersey Knights? It was like black with silver. Was that?
That's the Raiders, I think.
No.
I think that was from a movie.
I
Last
was
Boy
thinking
Scout?
so too. That sounds like a movie. That does sound like The Last Boy Scout with Bruce Willis and
Did
what's
you,
his face, one of the Wayans brothers.
Did you copy out any of the names that people suggested?
I did not.
Oh, you should have
I'll
done
go
that.
find them.
That
real
would've been a
quick.
good one.
But yeah, the XFL introduced the cross cable Skycam that the NFL uses today.
Really?
The
They first started that?
Mhm.
yep.
Dude, I
The,
was just at the Supercross on Saturday and watching it. I'm just like, that's fucking amazing technology right there, man.
yep.
It's like, because it's not even super taut. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
dips a little bit, and it's like just enough. You know, it's fucking cool.
Okay,
as
no,
shit.
that was a legit team.
It's like a
They were
drone
in
on a
the,
guide wire.
the World League of American Football.
Okay.
One of the, B football divisions back in the 90s.
Yeah, I knew there was
91
something
and
like
92 season. They played in the North American East Division.
So
Yep,
here's
that
some
was
of the
the silver.
Yeah.
Some of the suggestions for team names.
some of the team names that people came up
that.
with.
There we go.
The Chicago Chrome.
What?
The Chicago Chrome. Like shiny chrome.
Why Chicago Chrome?
I know.
Because it flows.
Why not?
The,
Chicago Chrome. CC's.
the Cleveland Steamers.
I mean, they've
Could-
already got a
could-
shit team that's
Could
brown. Why not?
Cleveland actually have a decent football team then?
Theoretically,
No.
Dude, that Cleveland
I think
would
the
be
Browns might
a
hold their
fucking-
own
I
against
was about to
an
say
XFL
maybe
team.
the Browns should just move to the
Cleveland
XFL.
would be a brilliant fucking market to have an XFL team because, like, if they
They wanna win
if
so
they had
bad.
good, they could steal all the fucking Cleveland Browns fans.
I mean, seriously, I
'Cause
have
how
to give it
badly have
up.
they wanted to win?
Yeah,
That's what I'm
You,
saying.
you
Like,
have to give it up to Cleveland
why-
fans. They are so diehard.
Why doesn't
And they haven't
don't
had
the
a good
Browns
team
just
in
move to the
ever.
XFL? Take their actual talent to a league that has no
Oh,
talent. Maybe
oh.
they could actually be a decent team.
They don't
It could,
have
but
any
it'd be
talent.
cherry picked.
That's what I said.
What if,
But compared to the other people in the XFL,
the Miami Cartel?
Nice.
John really likes these so far
Mhm.
because they've all been his so far.
no wonder he's like, that's a good one.
Right.
Not
Dude,
saying a fucking word.
These
Damn.
are fucking
That's fucking
brilliant.
brilliant.
The Phoenix Fallout.
Phoenix. Oh,
Why are people trying to like?
The Mississippi Pimps.
There it is. That's the one right there.
The Apache Junction Juggalos.
Whoop, whoop.
The Alberta Snowbirds.
That's mine. Yep.
The Los Angeles Fuck.
So you gotta draw the Canadians in.
Yeah.
You couldn't do the Juggalos in the XFL though because they're a
No
gang.
criminals.
Yeah, no criminals. They're an official gang according to the FBI. So
Yeah.
Are
can't
you
do Juggalos.
serious right now?
Yeah.
They're,
You
according
didn't
to
know
the
that?
state of Arizona too. Ask
Did
John.
you know that they're classified?
I'm gimmicked.
Juggalos are classified as a gang, an official gang by like
John
the
got
FBI.
pulled over for it.
Like for real.
For real. This is a real thing. Like
Leaving my
they-
house.
they actually went to court to try to get this designation removed from their fans, and the court said no. The Supreme Court.
John got pulled over for leaving my house with the Juggalo sticker in his back window, and they pulled him over to gimmick him as a gang member. And he almost went to jail because I had given him some prescription medication that wasn't his, and he had that with him.
And yeah, it kind of sucks.
It was ibuprofen. No, seriously,
Yeah.
he damn near got hung up
Like
because he had a
800s?
Juggalo sticker and some ibuprofen.
And I spent
You
Probably-
fucking drug dealing.
I spent a couple hours on the phone with the guy at Highway Patrol that actually runs
The state gang task
the
force.
state gang task force. He decides what is and isn't a gang, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, all right, I understand that everything you say fits the guidelines for Juggalos being a gang, but you have to tell your officers that if they walk up to a Juggalo and say, "Hey, you a Juggalo?" The Juggalo is going to say, "Oh, damn, this cop's down. Yeah, I like
I'm
ICP
down
and
with the
stuff."
clown.
Not knowing that you're asking him, "Are you in a gang?" If you walk up to a Crip and say, "Are you a Crip?" They're not going to be like, "Well, yes, I like Jay-Z." You know, it's not. It's a completely different thing. And so I also asked him, I'm like, okay, say some Jerry Garcia fan goes around killing people in the name of Jerry Garcia, and he has the teddy bears on his arm, and he's a deadhead. Are you gonna tag Grateful Dead fans? And he said, no, absolutely not, because their music. I'm like, no, stop right there. It doesn't fucking matter what their music says.
Right.
According to your criteria, they would be a gang. And he's like, no, it's different. I'm like, no, it really isn't.
Yeah. It's freaking
Well,
stupid,
does-
man.
Insane Clown Posse advocate violence?
No.
No.
Well, I mean, they
They sing
They
about
sing
it.
about it just like
Jokingly,
any other
yeah,
rapper.
The same,
you know,
the
tongue in
same
cheek.
way that any other rapper out there advocates violence.
But they're not like,
They're not out there trying to preach like
Yeah.
that Juggalos are a gang and trying to tell their gang members what to do.
right,
or
okay.
something.
That's what I was getting
if
at.
anything, if you actually listen to the lyrics and stuff, they are really against racism. They're against wife beating. Shangri-La, which is like the whole thing, is their word envisioning for heaven. They want every Juggalo to go to heaven. But they
I just remember that song.
their message is
Fuck
covered
you,
in
like,
slaughter
a
and
whole bunch of times.
93 times.
93 Yep, 93 times. Fuck welfare.
Fuck
The
the
president.
Like anybody gives a
That's a good song.
Yeah.
Still on my playlist.
Telling you, down with the clowns. It's Carnival of Carnage.
So,
I've
My
only
wife.
dipped my toe in
Exactly.
it.
My wife almost divorced me the other day because she found out that the only music album I have on my phone is The Great Malenko.
the only full
The
album.
only full album of music, actually that I have paid for, that is on my phone is The Great Malenko. She almost divorced me right then.
a
I'm
great
like, it's
album.
one of the greatest albums of all time in my
Yeah.
mind, and she's like, I need to go talk to a lawyer. She's like, that can't be the only thing on your phone. I'm like,
I
look,
just love
I
you.
have-
love
I
you
have
last
that.
year.
I have that and like 3 other just random songs. That's all that's on my phone is The Great Malenko.
Nice.
So you have like 15 songs in your playlist total?
Total, and
Oh.
and majority of them are The Great Malenko, except for 3 other songs.
That's
And the
awesome.
3 other songs, I only have those because I use them in editing video game videos.
They
That's the only
put
reason I
out-
have those on there. The only
That's
one,
funny.
I don't even listen to them.
They put out albums like a motherfucker for a while there.
Mm-hmm.
John had all of them as soon as they came out. And what they have, like, and some of them were like 4 and 5 disc sets.
I used to have all of them, man. I had
Hey,
Carnival of Carnage.
John
Riddle
still
Box,
does. He
Great
doesn't know he does
Malenko,
because they're in my house.
Jekyll
somewhere.
Brothers.
I still
Yeah,
got them.
I used to have.
How many records or albums have they sold?
A lot of them were greatest hits and shit like that. So
Yeah, they did
Well,
some
there was
original
the 6
albums.
Joker's cards. Then there was, I think they had 3 or 4 albums before the Joker's cards started.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had usually 1 or 2 in between each Joker card. And then they didn't stop at 6, I think. I think they brought out like 2 or 3 more Joker's cards.
Mm-hmm.
And probably another 6 to 10 besides that. So probably 20, 25 albums at least.
And they had songs on
Original
a few other
albums.
groups' albums as well.
But like how many? You don't know like how many? Have, like, 1 million, 10 million
Oh, money
Oh, sold?
overall. Like they've sold.
They've
no.
got.
Google it.
I think 1 went diamond and 3 went gold. I think.
Diamond is 10 million, isn't it?
I think so. I think that was a great Malenko.
Because it's an amazing fucking album.
Mm-hmm.
That shit
It's the
fucking.
only one he has on
That
his fucking
shit.
phone.
The Great Malenko fucking flows.
He almost got divorced over
man.
it.
From the go, that shit just moves perfectly from song to song. It's a great album.
I don't think I've ever
Speaking of
even
that, have you ever listened to Wizard of the Hood?
Mm-hmm.
So
That whole album was written as a story. Kinda. Each song goes into the other,
and tells a whole story when you listen.
which is kind of a ghetto Wizard of Oz.
So as far as how
Fail.
many they've sold according to Google, I have no idea.
Who don't even know?
Nobody fucking knows.
Everything.
But
you
they're a
look-
gang. We know that.
Yeah.
And they don't know how magnets work. But I understand that because I don't really understand how you can take something with positive polarity, negative polarity, cut it in half, and you have positive and negative on
But
each.
you can make limestone from gunpowder.
This is true, but you ain't gonna get no cheeseburger for
No,
knowing that.
Not for that. I get a cheeseburger for knowing that shit? Hell no. Fuck you.
So it looks like the Joker's cards themselves they had side cards.
Mm-hmm.
And
Those
then
are like the
regular
in-between albums.
they're well into the 30s, it looks like.
Damn.
And both of them put out silent solo albums, silent albums.
Some people would probably prefer it that way.
They both had solo albums,
Really? Like as
just themselves.
ICP or
Just
like
Shaggy
no,
Two Dope
like-
and Violent
like
J.
they
Yeah, it's Violent J and Shaggy Too Dope.
They kept their personas. They just
yeah
they
like
weren't
with the
together.
makeup and everything.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a Kiss thing where like Paul Stanley
No.
goes out
No,
and does a
no, it
fucking
was-
gay ass fucking
no.
dumb album.
They
But
just weren't
Violent J
together.
did threaten to go soft and have Jodeci singing all over his shit.
Shaggy Two Dope had 3 and Violent J had
Would you
4.
like more private songs
Private
this
fucking
shit?
solo albums? Are you shitting me?
I'm telling you, dude, in the 2000s, early 2000s, they came
But-
out with like 2 a
But
year.
solo albums were Violent J and every song featuring Shaggy Two Dope or featuring Twisted or featuring anybody
Yeah.
killer.
Hey, I mean, they wrestled for a little bit too, so you gotta.
Yes.
Oh man, Shaggy Two Dope had one of the best leg drops in the
He had
game.
he had a monster leg drop. I remember when they showed up on the WWF when they were still the WWF before they became WWE
The
a couple
oddities.
times. Yeah, that was badass.
I just remember the fuck song. It says
Because
fuck
that's
83
fucking
times,
bunch.
and the dating game song.
What about
Netting game,
Homies? The
netting
only one
game.
they played on the radio.
Huh?
Homies. Wasn't that the
no,
one that played?
the Netting game was
They-
the only one on.
No, they played a couple. Remember they did the mix mash of House of Horrors and Hall of
that's right, huh?
Illusions. Remember they took the chorus from one and then
Yeah.
the singing from the
At
other
least
mix
locally. I
mashed
don't
them
know if
together.
that was a real
Well,
thing.
that was local. Yeah.
I
That
think-
one played all the time, and then a version of the netting
Yeah,
game played.
you can't count here because for some reason Kiss 104 or whatever it was at the time really liked ICP, and he was the DJ that always played that 1, 2, 3, 4
Did you
songs.
do it
he was
like
allowed to
real
play.
late at night?
No.
No, I played during the day.
A Friday night.
I just remember like
He helped spawn the Eminem ICP
when I was driving
battle.
tractors
Yeah, that's right.
back in the day and fucking like late at night. I want to say
They played them late at night
he
too,
was
but they
like
played them during
he
the
played
day.
one that was like uncensored and the guy
Yeah.
got fired the next day. Like, he
Dave
was
Pratt used to
gone.
do that shit all the time. I've at least just personally, I've heard Dave Pratt be fired.
Yeah,
twice.
I don't know where else in the country they played ICP, but here we had a station that would play it. I used to listen. That's how I first got onto it was
Yeah.
hearing that.
If I
Remember the
remember right.
Dr. Demento show
Mm-hmm.
way back when?
Yeah, if I remember right, that DJ went to Eminem's concert here in Phoenix and saw him on stage, like fake having sex with a blow-up doll that was painted up like ICP, and just going off on him. And so, like the next morning, he contacted ICP's people, and that started the whole ICP Eminem diss battle and everything.
Really?
Yeah, I still say, I think it was premeditated. I think all of them were in Detroit and we're like, you know what? One of us is bound to make it. If that happens, fucking,
you would have
fucking,
to know
fucking
each
diss
other.
me.
Yeah.
You would have to know
But-
each other.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Oh,
that's
they
the best
did,
way to
didn't
get
you? Yeah.
a rapper on the radar is diss him.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of rappers did that.
Yep.
Wouldn't be surprised if he had like a stake in their production company or something.
Did you say steak?
Where did that voice come from?
I don't remember
That's
the
his-
reference.
That's
That's
his
his
normal
steak
voice.
Yeah.
You're not around him when you get steak.
That's just
the
his
one-
normal
he
voice.
saves that voice for Helen most of the time. She's
What
the
we
fake
typically hear is the persona. That's just him coming out.
That was a long time ago.
I don't play a steak. I'm not a steak lover. I just play one on the podcast.
But I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last
one.
night.
Right.
So, what about you, Kale? You had something you wanted to bring up.
Oh, okay. So
Star Wars.
He's like, no, I like steaks.
I like steaks too. I like steaks. So I have a bit of insomnia. My wife just says that's an excuse to stay up and play video games, but I watch TV too.
I think you have a disease.
I might have a disease. But you know, like when you're
Sleeping's
watching,
for
you know, when you're watching like cable, you know, I was actually on cable, not streaming shit, and sometimes you'll catch a movie, you're like, damn, this is a good movie, and then afterwards the sequel plays.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, damn, that was a good movie too. But then like that happened to me the other night. I was watching, like, damn, this is a good movie. And then the sequel started, and I was like, holy fuck, this is really horrible.
You know what?
And that made me thinking, like, what is the sequel that let you down the most in a movie?
Shit.
Like where you saw the first movie and you were like, this is the most amazing movie I've ever seen. The sequel to this is gonna end the world for movies.
While
It's gonna be so
everybody's
amazing.
thinking about the sequels they hated the most, you know what's even more annoying than when you catch a movie and then the sequel and it keeps you up all night? When fucking stations lately, they play them in reverse order. Like, you'll be
I've
like,
seen that shit.
a lot.
You'll be like,
Back to the Future 2 is on.
And no, it'll be
Sweet.
Back to the Future 3, and then they'll play 1, and they don't play 2 at all.
Right.
And then you're like, what are you trying to fuck my life?
Yeah.
Come on.
There's 3 of those motherfuckers. You start with 3 and then go to 1 and then skip
then don't
2.
even go 2. Like, that pisses
Just
me
because
off.
it's time travel doesn't mean you gotta fuck it up and do it backwards.
Right? Shit, that pisses me off. But yeah, I was thinking that because I was so into the first. I was like, I caught it at the end. It's one of those movies. I'm like, I gotta finish this movie. I'm staying up. And then when the sequel started, I was like, you know, I just kept watching because I was, you know, awake. And as the movie went on, I'm just like, God, this is so motherfucking disappointing. I remember how excited I was for when this came out.
Major League 2.
Yes.
See, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
The
first one.
Horrible.
So good.
Well, a good excuse or a good example of a bad one, I guess, would be the better term.
And they almost had the exact same cast.
Yeah.
The only person you switch
Wesley Snipes for Omar
Epps. Otherwise, it's the same exact cast.
I like the ones where like you see the first 2 sequels hit, you know, they're blockbuster films, and then, you know, 10 years later you're at the Red Box and you see episode 7 of it out, and you're like,
Oh yeah, you're like,
I didn't even know they went past 2.
There's another American Pie.
American Pie, yep. Another one coming out.
Great
I
example.
guess the dad is in all of them. He's the
Yeah.
one keeping that shit going. He's like, come on, baby.
Eugene Levy.
Yeah,
is
Levin's
carrying it
fucking
all.
cranking those American
Yeah, it's
Pies
like-
out.
American Pie 5. Stifler's younger brother goes to college. Like, what the fuck?
That's a great example. That's exactly what I mean. And they just got so just spiraling
Watered down
downhill. And
The first one that popped in my head, though, was Bogus Journey. Bill and Ted sequel.
Yep.
Oh,
Oh, the first one, yeah.
It wasn't horrible, but it was compared to the first one.
Compared to the first one. It was, and I think that their whole thing was they were afraid of redoing the first movie because the second one was so different than the first one, like completely, like a whole completely different concept. That it was just the characters. And to your point, Danny, they're working on number 3.
are you serious?
Mm-hmm. But yep. Keanu
Well,
Reeves
Ted-
keeps talking
I'm
about
excited
it.
about
He
it.
keeps
Is it
talking
gonna
about
be
the
a-
script and everything.
Is it going to be something legit, or is it going to be
Is it
shit?
going to be the same blonde-headed guy, or they got to...
Supposedly it's supposed
Bill
to be
S.
him.
Preston Esquire. Got to get him back in there. Yeah, it's supposed to be the same 2 dudes. I don't know if anybody else is from the series. is
Where
coming
the
back.
fuck have you
George
been?
Carlin's
You can't get George Carlin. Well, they could CGI him.
It's true.
Pull a Princess Leia, CGI
All they have
George
to do is
Carlin.
get permission
Hey,
from his
so what
estate.
parts
Right.
was fucking Leia CGI'd in? Like, because I didn't...
At the end, when they
In
walked
Ro-
in and
in-
handed her the...
In the
Disc or whatever?
in the Rogue One movie, the one where they have to steal the plans and stuff. Star Wars Rogue One.
But in the one that just come out,
No, they didn't CGI her in that one.
she was fully.
She was fully in that one.
Okay.
Yeah, no, she was fully in that one. But they CGI'd a young version of her in the Rogue One, so she looked like she did back in 1980,
Oh, okay.
1978 when it first
Okay.
aired. But yeah, they just CGI'd George Carlin. But yeah, no, they're working on the script for Bill and Ted 3. Keanu Reeves is very excited about it. Did you guys? Now I'm segueing way off of the subject.
It doesn't work.
You guys
if
have
say
seen
segue.
All right.
You guys seen the
You're
the
supposed
John
to
Wick
go
movies?
segue and then just change.
You guys have seen? Have you guys seen the John Wick movies?
Star Wipe.
Yes, they're doing a TV show.
They're
right?
doing the TV show. Did you see that? They're
Is it
doing
gonna
John Wick
be
TV show.
Keanu Reeves?
No,
No.
the TV show is gonna follow
They're going to go
the
like
hotel.
Huh?
The hotel he stays at, where all the hitmen live and everything.
Yeah.
That's where the TV show takes place.
Which I think is a pretty cool concept.
Which
So
I think
it's
is an
gonna be like
awesome
the bar
concept.
from Deadpool.
Yeah, kind of like that, I guess. So I think it's a cool concept because we found the Continental. That's what it's called.
There you go.
Yeah, no business on continental grounds. But we found out in John Wick 2 that the hotel is international. There's Continentals all over the world.
Right.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's gonna follow the Continental. So you'll each episode you might see like different hitters, what their jobs are, what's going down. It might not have like the same people every episode. So like that could be kind of cool.
So they could
I like that
potentially
idea.
have.
But they're gonna call it John Wick.
I don't know.
No, I
what
think they're
gonna
going to call it the Continental.
Yeah,
Something I read. I think
it will be called the Continental. Yeah, it's not gonna be called John Wick, but it's in the John Wick universe.
John Wick TV show.
Yeah, it's in the John Wick universe. But I thought that was kind of cool.
But yeah, they could, if they did it right, they could totally go like Twilight Zone style with it, and every week is a different story.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like
the only thing that's the same is like the
Is the
dude
people
behind
who-
the counter with the glasses.
Yeah, like the people who like work there would
Yeah.
be the only thing you would see, but like the
Hand
hitters
them their
and everything
assignment
would
or
be
whatever.
yeah, the hitters would be new each week and stuff like who's doing what.
It could be really
assassination job.
interesting too if you played it like Never Leave the Hotel. Like you have the guys coming back shot all to hell, and you're trying to
Yeah,
fix them up.
yeah,
but
you
you're
know,
not
like they need
necessarily
the doctor
knowing
or
why.
whatever they call it, because they had names for everything. I need blah blah blah, and you're like, what the fuck is that? And then the doctor shows up, you're like, oh okay, I get it.
Yeah, I think it could be pretty freaking interesting. I'm kind of looking forward to it. Who's doing it though? I don't remember. Is that a Netflix thing too, or was that was a network? I think.
I don't
wasn't it?
remember. I don't remember on that one. But yeah, I got way off subject there. But the movie that started this whole horrible sequels thing for me was The Matrix was on.
Okay.
And the first Matrix was so good. Like I was into that movie, man.
Oh,
Second
yeah.
one was
It was
decent-ish.
amazing. And then the second one came out, and I was just like, eh.
Yeah.
And then the third one came out, and I was like,
unfucking watchable.
no.
Yeah.
And then watching it again, the first one, I still got into it again. Like, this is fucking amazing. And then the sequel came out, and every single fight is CGI in the
Yeah.
sequel. Every single fight in the sequel is CGI. In the first one, it was all practical fighting, all with the wires, the kung fu. It looked so good. And I could not get past the CGI Keanu Reeves. It looked so fucking horrible.
Unwatchable.
It was unfucking watchable. And the third one, even worse. And I was just like, man, the first Matrix was so good. And it just, I can't, how do you take something that great of a concept, and bomb it that bad?
Right.
To me, the second one was, as long as I wasn't paying for it, I could watch it. It wasn't the worst one in the world, but nowhere near the same level as the first one. Third one,
Trash.
I don't know how they convinced somebody that was a makeable movie. Mine, I think, would be Jurassic Park.
That's another good one. The first Jurassic Park.
And I'm a little worried they're going to do it
Kill it.
again with this next
With the
sequel.
sequel
Have
to
you
Lost
seen
World?
that? I mean, it looks kind of
It
cool. But
looks
have you
really good to me.
to me, the idea is, I mean, literally, if they do it right, it could be good, but if not,
What's the?
So basically, the island is still there. All the dinosaurs are still there. It's just uninhabited by people. There's a volcano erupting, and they send everybody back to rescue the dinosaurs off the volcano island before the volcano blows up, basically.
Why?
Well, that's the whole premise
That's
of the
the whole
movie.
premise of it.
Because they're
Fucking
endangered
PETA,
creatures.
man! Fucking PETA!
Why? Because like they show in the trailer, they
Let's
show.
go ahead and bring dinosaurs on the fucking mainland USA because
And-
we can't let them fucking die like they already did a billion years ago.
And like, if you look at the trailers, almost make it seem like the whole movie is going to be like the whole Escape from LA kind of thing. The volcano's erupting, and we're literally spending the entire movie running from it while trying to capture dinosaurs.
Well, love is pretty slow.
Yeah, it doesn't go that fast.
It's not as fast
But,
as fucking.
I've got a.
That's like the question in the trailer. They had like a congressional hearing going on, and they're like,
Right.
do these animals deserve for
Protection.
us to try to save their lives and shit? And that's
Again.
when they bring back Jeff Goldblum's character from the original, Mr. Science Dr. Ian Malcolm, and he's like, these animals died out millions of years ago. They're dangerous. Why would you want to fucking save them?
Yeah.
One of them tried to eat me.
Right.
Do you guys understand that every time we fuck with these, we all die?
Right?
Maybe we
Like,
should let them go.
have we had a movie yet where we didn't get fucked up and you wanted no?
They,
But yeah, I agree with that. Though.
But like
the first
the
Jurassic
original
Park
ones,
was great.
first one was great,
Lost
kind of the
World.
same thing. Second one was third one was kind of unwatchable.
I've got an old school reference for this. The first and second were good. The third one is where it tanked.
Yeah.
Halloween.
Oh, yep.
Horror movies had a way of tanking with sequels in general too, though.
And they kind of had a way of doing like what you said. The first couple,
Blair
okay.
Witch.
The first couple
Yeah.
okay because they
second
kind
Blair
of
Witch
turn
was-
on, and then
Yeah.
like you said, they get to the point where they're just throwing Stifler's younger
Yeah.
brother
Right.
in there, like
Like the
it's
Saw
all
movies were
gimmicky.
kind of like that.
They're not even trying anymore. Like
No.
like the third sequel, they're like, oh my god, the guy's got a knife, he's gonna kill us. Oh, he's stabbing me.
Yeah.
It's just they don't even put effort into it anymore. But that
Blair
Blair
Witch-
Witch,
Saw
Blair Witch, yeah, that was one.
stayed strong.
I think Saw was
Yeah,
a good
Saw-
example.
Saw's one
Yeah,
was-
their writing stayed pretty stellar.
And the thing too that worked with Saw is that it turned out all the movies were happening at pretty much the same
Yeah.
exact fucking time
That
when
part
you
I
watch them.
liked. That part I liked.
Yeah, so like it would get to a certain point when all of a sudden you see a scene from Saw 1 in Saw 3 and you find out, oh shit, if he just walked through that door,
Yep.
you're in the other movie. Like that was cool. And those stayed strong.
That'd be some crazy Inception
They
shit
kept
right there.
that is some crazy stuff. Shit, they kept like the same profits the whole way through that series.
Mhm.
Yeah, and really good profits because it cost them shit to make those movies, and they made millions of dollars.
They did. They put those together pretty cheap.
Mm-hmm. I mean, what do you need?
Well, there wasn't a lot of.
You need 3 people in a room with a hacksaw, and you got a
Well,
fucking movie.
there wasn't a lot of famous people in any of those.
Yeah,
Donnie
fucking
Wahlberg.
Yep. Johnny Wahlberg. In the first one, you had fucking Men in Tights, Robin Hood, Terry Hughes.
Mm.
He was in that one. You had some people in there, but
Yeah, but not
well, you didn't
No
have
Tom
fucking.
Cruise.
No
you didn't have
Bruce
you didn't have
Willis,
Bruce
no
Willis
blonde
and some blonde
chick.
chick in there. I know that's you're like, this is Bruce Willis and some blonde
There-
chick.
And everybody
And
else is
every
somewhere
other
down
movie-
here.
That's the bar. The
This
bar
is
is set
that.
up here.
And every other one movie is below that. What comes after Bruce Willis and the blonde chick? New Jack City? Like, what's there?
Trespass.
Trespass. There we go.
New Jack City.
Bruce Willis.
That one where they're like controlling androids, but they're really fat.
Some blonde
Androids
chick
look
as the blonde chick.
But yeah, so The Matrix was the one for me. And Jurassic Park, that's a great example.
They
And yeah, like you said, horror movies always drop off.
yeah. Saw, I think, is one of the only examples of a horror movie that stayed strong no matter what. But
I think I enjoyed all the Hostels.
Was there more than
I think
two?
there's
Oh,
might have
there's-
been
there's
three.
like 6 of them.
Okay,
fucking
I take that
movies,
back.
too.
I think I only watched after part 3.
There
So
was a few. So you enjoyed those first 3
yeah.
You know
There's
what
a
I just?
few of them.
You know what I just got fucking lost in
Lost?
after the first one was fucking Lord of the Rings. Like,
Oh, you couldn't
it's
care.
like this is more of the same, just shit. And then they
It's 16 hours of them walking.
I can't fucking. I still don't. I mean, I've read the fucking books, and I'm like, I still don't fucking get it. Like, it's like,
You know what it is? You didn't watch the extended edition where each movie's 8 hours long, so you get a whole 24 hours. You
all
get a
those little
whole
bits fill in
entire
all the
day of
confusion.
watching. You missed that. That's what it is. They fill in your confusion.
So there was Hostel. The first one came out in 05, second one 07, third one in 11, and then 11 they came out with another one that was same name, and then some of these had to have different fucking makers or something. But yeah, there was at least 4. It looks like.
what was that
Hostile
director's
Returns?
name? Like, he became like super
Eli
famous
Roth?
overnight.
No.
Eli, I thought that's what it
Yeah,
was.
I think.
David Lee Roth.
Yeah.
He was.
He
I
had an
remember him.
awesome jump.
He
In
did
which
it.
one?
He did an interview in fucking like Playboy magazine, and he's like, I went from being a fucking nobody to like
Yeah, Eli Roth.
literally the week after my movie comes out, he's like, Prince invites me to a fucking party at his house. You know what I mean? Like, I'm at Prince's house in fucking Minnesota partying after his concert.
If that ever happens, don't challenge him to a game of basketball.
Prince shops at regular stores? Yeah. Like where? The Gap. Prince shops at the Gap. Well, Baby Gap. Gap Kids. That was one of Kevin Smith stories. It kills me every time when he talks about that. Yeah, don't. Yeah, his crew. They're all still in their
Shirts versus
clothes,
blouses.
shirts, blouses. Telling you, man. Then he made us. Was it waffle? No, pancakes.
Pancakes.
They made his pancakes.
Oh, I need some of that leg minute.
Made his pancakes.
Speaking
Like-
of sequels that always stay solid, speaking of Kevin Smith, he needs to come out with some more Jay and Silent Bob.
Yes.
Yeah, he's working on it. Jay and
Is he
Silent.
really?
More Jay and
The
Silent
sequel
Bob,
to-
less
Sequel
Clerks,
to Jay and Silent
Yeah.
Bob Strikes Back is
Really?
in production right now.
less Jersey Girl.
Yeah, sequel to Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back, and he's making fun of the movie reboots.
So
'Cause
he
now
rebooted the
they're-
movie by.
It's like
making
they're
fun of
going
reboots.
back to Hollywood again to stop a reboot of the movie they tried to stop the first time.
It's brilliant. Kevin Smith needs to work with the South Park guys. I mean, it would be
Right.
great.
Hey, Super Troopers 2 is coming.
Yeah.
soon.
Oh yes, that's
Yeah.
one's
On
cool.
420, which I'm sure is purely a coincidence.
Meow.
Sure. I
Marketing.
think are.
Meow. Yep, that was a good one. That's also cool too because that was one of the ones that they had to like crowdfund and shit. They couldn't get a
Right.
studio to sign on to
Nobody-
Super
They were
Troopers.
like,
What was that?
They're like,
what
no.
was that horror movie that they came out with after Super Troopers? Something cabin or camp or
oh, that the same guys did?
Yeah.
The directors or like the actors?
I think they're
Both.
both.
That whole group. I
Yeah.
It was like a.
It was damn near the same cat. I don't remember what it was called, though. It was bad.
It was Nash Lampoon / American Pie E. They're just like, let's go make another movie.
Damn it, I can't think of what it was
I
called.
can't remember either.
So it was cabin something cabin.
Aren't all those cabins?
Yeah, something cabin something. Death
Blah.
kill.
I could just wanted something like
It was a
Black
horror
Cat
movie?
Presents or something.
Team Ramrod.
Club Dread.
Club
There
Dread.
you go.
Club Dread. Yep, there they are.
You guys weren't even fucking close.
No,
No,
we're
they had
right
cabins
there.
on that island.
There were
That's
cabins
what
in the movie, dude.
Samsonite.
We never said
I
the
was
cabins.
way off.
Ah!
There were cabins in the movie.
That's right. That was
She must
an
have
American Pie reference was really close to because it's totally like American Pie goes to camp and gets murdered while they're there kind
Yeah.
of thing. It was
American Pie goes to
It
Friday
was-
the 13th.
It was campy.
Better save that one.
It was not good.
Was there
No.
tits?
A lot. That's the only thing that made it watchable.
So it goes
I was gonna say.
Bruce Willis is some blonde chick and then tits.
Yeah.
That's his list.
Right there, right there.
If the guy's tits, I'm in.
Then you should check out The Almighty Johnsons on Netflix.
Sounds
Yeah,
like the
Bruce Willis
opposite
and
of what he's
Blonde
looking
Chicken?
No,
for.
it's got tits.
No.
It's about these brothers that are bloodline from the Norse gods, and they at their 21st birthday they inherit one of the god's abilities, but they're watered down throughout generation to generation, so they're god-ish. But yeah, we just watched one episode and there's like 4 or 5 sex scenes with boobs.
There you go. He's like, fuck, why don't they make movies like that anymore?
He fucking-
They do. I get them on the internet all the time. They're fairly readily available.
Ironically,
There's a
Johnson's the
website
title of some of
dedicated
them. Huh?
solely to those videos.
Oh, the other day, my wife was like, they show boobs all the time. They never show penises. I'm like, I see penises in like 90% of the movies I watch. I mean, it's on Pornhub,
Right?
but it's like
still.
90% of the movies I watch have a penis in it. I don't know what you're talking about. Shit.
10% have 12 penises.
I remember,
Yeah.
like when The Watchmen came out. And then
Oh
fucking
man.
the blue guy with his fucking like.
Oh, the
dong
big
hanging
ass
out.
blue, yeah. Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah.
That's one I'm excited. I like the movie. I kind of feel like they kind of fudged, but again, that's Zack Snyder, and I don't like the way he does superhero movies. But I'm excited that I think it was HBO. Yeah, HBO picked that up and they're doing a Watchmen TV show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that.
With the same people.
No.
Oh.
Like, it'll be characters, but not the same actors and shit. They're, like, doing it over. They're doing the movie, but as a TV show. So they'll be able to, like, get more stories from the comic and stretch it out like they did Game of Thrones. So they're not trying to fit everything into one little, hour and 90 minutes or hour and 90 minutes. That is a
When
word.
is fucking?
That's a
when
long TV show.
is Game
They're not
of Thrones
trying to-
coming back?
Not trying to
Next
fit it all
year,
into
yeah.
just a little
They
bit.
skipped a year for the last 6 months. It was supposed to be back any minute now, like March-ish, and they
Mhm.
decided to wait a year to release the last 6 months. Last I heard.
Yep.
Or 6.
But
last
also,
6
we
months.
talked about that
The last
before.
6
Like,
episodes.
each episode's going to be like a movie length.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The last 6 episodes, each one's like the length of a movie.
So
It's like watching 6 movies.
Are you finally caught up? Have you actually
Yes.
seen? Holy
Oh,
Yeah.
shit!
So-
Wow.
So there's only one person that's not caught up.
What
What?
you think about?
How have you not had time to fucking do that?
He's on like season 3 or some
Yeah.
shit.
You're
Not,
not-
we binge watched it, man.
Earmuffs.
Because you know
bro.
what started
It's
it?
an
Yeah.
earmuff. Okay.
They had
What'd you
fucking
think
season-
about that fucking undead ass dragon? That was some badass shit. You know what?
As
You know-
soon as it goes down, I'm like, they're gonna fucking get
Yeah,
it, man.
You
Burn
know
that
what?
motherfucker.
I just realized I have a new thing for the list for the flamethrower. Whenever dead ass ice dragons
Yeah.
show up, you need a fucking flamethrower.
When
There you go.
I heard, like, before that came out, I heard rumors that dragon was gonna die, and I'm like, damn it, they're gonna kill off the dragon. Damn it, they're gonna turn it into a zombie. Damn it, that's gonna be cool.
Right? Like, fuck. That was badass when he
Yeah.
showed up on that fucking dragon and the fucking blue eyes and shit.
Yeah.
I thought I was playing fucking Yu-Gi-Oh again from back in the day. The blue eyes white dragon. I was excited.
Nice.
The horses are cool enough.
Oh yeah, the undead horses. Those are badass. But yeah, and that when that fucking I did the same thing. As soon as that dragon went down, I'm like, they're gonna turn that into a fucking zombie dragon.
Because I was
For those D&D
I was trying
a
to-
Dracolich is fucking showing up. I'm
Since-
so goddamn excited.
I was trying to fucking engineer, like, how are these fucking zombies, these slow walking fucking half dead motherfuckers,
Gonna get the
gonna
wall.
get by this wall when fucking badass fucking humans struggle? And then I'm like, oh,
I haven't been so
fucking
sad about an
zombie.
animal dying since like fucking old
The
Yeller.
old Yeller and shit. You're like, fuck the dragon.
I'm just like, oh god, no.
It's like one of your fucking pets died or
Right.
some shit. Yeah, that was badass though. I was like, a fucking Dracolich. My wife's like, what? I'm like a fucking Dracolich. That was awesome though. I can't believe you're caught up, man. That's an amazing feat.
Oh, I love that fucking show, man. I'm like,
He catches up
Like,
and
ready
then
to watch it
literally.
I'm
again.
gonna go back to
Watch it again.
part one.
Brian
we
catches
did that.
it up literally the year.
We
that
did
it
that,
goes
and
away.
watching it through, you start catching shit that you missed the first time. You're
Right.
like, oh shit, that referencing shit that happens, 3 seasons from now was started right here, and you didn't even realize it.
Not
the
that you
first
would
time.
ever find time in your life for this, but you should read the books. The
I
fucking.
don't know, there's not a. The only time I
There's
read
boobs
books
in
is
there.
when I get jail time. And
He's like, I only read the books that have the part that fold out in the middle.
luckily, I don't go to jail much anymore. So.
The books are freaking amazing. I mean, pretty much the same story, just way better detail, of course, but it's pretty awesome.
Is there gonna be any more Star Wars?
What?
Yeah,
Every year.
of course. Next year we have the
2 this year.
But is there gonna be like more?
A real one and a side
a
one.
continuance from like.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
we just watched.
Yeah.
Yeah, in 2 years.
It's
Next
So
gonna
it's gonna be like episode 10.
a
Yeah.
side story episode 10, side story episode 11. Theoretically,
Well,
it's how
they
it's
talked
supposed to
about that.
go.
They might actually drop the episodic ones after 9.
Really?
Yeah, they've talked about that. And 9 might be the last of the episodic ones. It's kind of ending what they call the Skywalker storyline. So we may still see those characters go forward. They
Wait,
might
what?
not be in
What?
episodes.
They're gonna get rid of Skywalker?
Ending the Skywalker stories, because right now so far what's going to be 9 when the next one comes out. That's all been one story of the Skywalker family.
It's already
started
done,
with-
isn't it?
No, we just had episode
Yeah.
8.
There was 3, and then 3 prequels, and then now 3 post.
We've had 2. We haven't
2.
had the third one yet.
That was, you're mixing in side stories.
Oh yeah, that one was Rogue One. Yeah, that one
Yeah,
didn't count.
that one doesn't count. That's a side story.
And the one that's
So-
coming out.
But yeah, so
In
like all the
March
ones
is-
that have a number on it, episode 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, blah blah blah, up to 8, which will be 9. Those have all just dealt with the Skywalker family. We had young Darth Vader, and we saw how he became Darth Vader, and then we had young Luke, and saw how he redeemed his father, and then
What's
now
up,
we have this
Daxton?
shit happen on now with Kylo Ren, who's Luke's nephew. So it's all been the Skywalker saga, but they're saying that they might end that after 9, stop the episodes, and just go to the standalone stories like Rogue One, Han Solo, Boba Fett, Yoda, Obi-Wan Kenobi, tell those kind of
Like,
stories.
are they really gonna do like a Boba Fett? I never.
Oh man,
I think
Fett's
that's
the
the one I'm
Boba
looking
Fett's
for.
Boba Fett's the one most people are excited.
That's what
for.
I'm like. What? The
People have been wanting
He
a
was a
Boba Fett
but-
one.
fucking
and-
bounty hunter. You
He's-
didn't hardly see his face.
He wasn't even that good.
Right, the only
He
screen
comes
time
out,
we got.
he comes to screen time, says hi, dies.
Yeah, like
But he has so much mythology
Thanks for
because
ruining it for us.
Sorry.
he got so expanded outside of the movies because they did a whole backstory showing you like how we saw him when he was a kid in the prequels because his dad was Jango.
yeah.
So we saw how that happened, but they had stories talk about how when he grew up, and then he actually survived the Sarlacc pit. He escaped,
Oh damn.
and he was like a major player through all the Star Wars novels for the next like 30 years of the Star Wars universe, like 30 years in the future. He's battling Han Solo's kids and shit.
Oh wow.
So like he was a major player all throughout all the expanded universe
Fuck, he's
outside
gotta
of
be-
the movie.
I wish they're gonna
was
come
he,
out
like
with a
200
Chewbacca
years old?
story.
Fuck, he was an old man.
I wish
Fuck,
Murph was here. He told me a story. I think it's like I don't know if it was novel, comics, or whatever, but where Boba Fett and Han, I think, were like not lightsabers, but gun to gun, and they both kind of just like
They didn't cross
Walked
the
away.
streams,
Yeah.
did they?
Yeah, no, yeah, they that happens sometimes. You can't help it. Sometimes you cross streams, you cross swords. It happens when you get in a situation.
Kind of situation.
But but yeah, that happened at one point when they had you and they're like right at each other, and then it's just like it's not worth it. They both walked away from it. Yeah, there was a lot of them, and like I said, like he ended up getting involved with like Han Solo's kids. Like he actually, because in the books, just like what would happen in the movies where Kylo Ren went bad, in the books Han Solo and Princess Leia had twins, a boy and a girl, and the boy went evil, and so his sister tried to take him out. And she went to Boba Fett to train her because he was known for being able to take on Jedi. So she actually went to Boba Fett and he trained her in the Mandalorian fighting arts so she could go kill her brother who went evil. And then a lot of people keep comparing that to Rey and Kylo Ren. They're like, is Rey secretly related to Kylo Ren in some way?
That's what I keep expecting to pop.
Is that like in the books? Like you've read all those like. So you know who fucking Rey is, and like
no, because all the stuff that happened in the books, Disney wiped all that out and says that doesn't count towards what's happened in the movies. Because the books told you what happened for like the next like 40 years.
Luke and Leia didn't know they were brother and sister until they were adults,
right? Like in the extended books and what they call the extended universe, now it's called Legends. Like Luke ended up getting married. He ended up having a little boy that he named Ben after, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then Han Solo and Princess Leia actually had 3 kids. They had the twins, Jason and Jaina, and then they had a little boy after that they named Anakin after Darth Vader. And so and all that continues. And like one of the things that pissed people off, like in the books, like Chewie got killed off at one point. People hated that, and just but I mean like they lived for like the next 30, 40 years, like all these different adventures and things, and characters coming in, characters dying. Like I said, characters getting married and having, full-on kids, and the kids carrying the stories on. And so the books covered a lot of years. And Disney was like, okay, well, we want to make these movies, but so much has happened. So much has happened in these books that we wouldn't be able to do what we want because we have to fit it all in with that. So we're just going to wipe all that out and say the only thing that counts is the original movies, the cartoon TV shows, and that's it.
And Bruce Willis.
And the blonde chick. That's all that counts. Everything else. The comic books, the video games,
boobs,
all the books, all that stuff, it doesn't count. We wipe it out. But like I said, though, people are drawing similarities between Kylo Ren and Rey to what happened in the books between Han Solo's twin kids.
I keep thinking that too. I mean, it'd be really weird for them to...
There's no fucking way that her parents could just be some fucking drunks. That's
right.
Exactly. I think there's got to be more than that.
That's not the fucking story.
There's got to be more than that.
My parents were...
And if it was... I mean...
It's not that hard to believe.
Isn't the Force inherited?
Yeah, it's supposed to... Yeah, it can pop up spontaneously, but usually it does run through bloodlines.
Well, didn't it like spontaneously pop up in Anakin?
Well, Anakin was actually supposed to be Jesus Christ. He was born without sexual intercourse. His mother just all of a sudden was pregnant.
I was born without sexual
intercourse too. They didn't say that in fucking episode 1.
Yeah,
I had to wait till I was a teenager.
He said because Qui-Gon Jinn asked the mom, who is the father? And she said, there was no father. I just had a baby.
Really?
Yeah.
I missed that.
Yeah, go back at episode 1. They're sitting on the balcony talking about it. He's talking like your son's very special, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, who was his father? And she said, there was no father. He was like, and then,
maybe she's just a lion whore.
No, the thing is, a Jedi walks up and says, you will not remember this.
He force raped her.
You want to open your legs.
I am not the baby daddy you're looking for.
But yeah, no, he was.
I think
Anakin
I'm pregnant.
You don't know me. They believe Anakin was born from the Force. Like the Force impregnated her to make like a super strong Force.
Talking about forcing yourself on somebody.
Forceful.
Forceful, yeah. But yeah, so that was the story there. So he only has a mom. He doesn't have a father. Yeah, and then there's a lot of theories on who actually caused that and blah 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 in the extended universe, which like I said, Disney wiped all that out. But they keep stealing shit. They go through the books and be like, oh, this was a good story. Let's steal that and use that in our movie.
They erase the parts they don't like, and they're like, shit, that's interesting. Let's throw that back in there.
They went through and they picked little bits and pieces out of the video games and the novels and the comic books that they liked, and they used those in their movies. So there's little bits in their TV shows. So there's little bits here and there. For those of us that read all those books and know all that knowledge, are like, oh, I know where they got that from. They just ripped that off from such and such book. But yeah, no, there was a whole entire whole series of stuff that was wiped out, but you see similarities. Like the Rogue One, there was a video game that was that movie. You played a mercenary who went in to steal the Death Star plans, and then 20-something years later they make a movie with the same premise as that original video game.
Shit, that was 20 years ago that they had a
No,
video game?
yeah, it was longer. Yeah, it was like that somewhere. Dark Forces. That was a really good game series. It was like playing. It was the first one where like Star Wars one where you like kind of really like played like that was big where you weren't having to be a Jedi. You were a mercenary, kind of like a Han Solo type character, and you were like hired by the Alliance to go steal the Death Star plans and shit like that. And it played like the original Doom and Wolfenstein did, except for it was Star Wars. Instead of shooting demons, you shot stormtroopers and shit. It was pretty badass.
How rude.
How great.
Yeah, it's not like they could shoot you back.
Right.
Right, exactly. And you know what? That game, it did something where it made it so the guns shot like they do in the fucking movie. So like when you pick up like a stormtrooper blaster and you start shooting at a stormtrooper, your fucking bullets are going like this and shit because they have no accuracy beyond.
So it was
like
it's
4
showing
feet.
it's the guns.
So they're trying to show you that that's just how those guns shoot. Like
That's
it doesn't
hilarious.
matter if your little thing is right on the dude you're
These
shooting
are
at.
shit.
4 out of your 5 shots are gonna fucking go like this, and they did that in the game, and it was hilarious
I
because
might
you
be
got it
That's great.
I might be a stormtrooper.
right. See, there you go. But yeah, they did that in the game, and I'm like, that's fucking hilarious because this shit's going everywhere like this. And then you pick up like a blaster, like Han Solo's blaster, and boom, you're hitting everybody perfectly with that shit.
I just grabbed one of those like old school like heater, house heating radiators, the curved pipes, and just
just
walk
let
around.
him go. Little Spaceballs reference there. I like it. Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money. That's a sequel I always wish we would have got.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome. The bleeps, the creeps, and the... That's not all he's lost.
Funny.
That movie has one of the best scenes in movies ever. Is the
We
when is this
ain't
happening?
found-
This is
Oh.
happening now.
Now?
Now. No,
that
this
now.
is now. What happened to then? We missed it. When? Just now. The best fucking thing because they're watching.
They're watching themselves.
and
Yeah, I
everything
remember
they do, movie, and he's like, when the fuck does this happen in the movie? This happens now. Go back to then. We can't. Why? We missed it. When? Just now.
I still like that. We ain't found shit.
Sir, do you think we're being too little? No, he told us to comb the desert, so we're combing the desert. And the motherfuckers had that little pit. We ain't found shit.
Somebody jammed our radar.
Oh,
Raspberry. There's only one man in the universe brave enough to give me the raspberry.
the asshole. Who made that man a gunner? I did, sir. Who's he? He's an asshole, sir. I know that. What's his name? That is his name. Major asshole.
I'm surrounded by assholes. Sir, yes, sir.
He's like, how many of you are assholes? Everyone stands up. I knew it. Surrounded by assholes. When they go to ludicrous speed,
Oh, yeah.
they've gone to plaid.
Plaid. Stop. No, we must slow down first.
What's wrong, Colonel Sanders? Chicken.
I gotta watch
Oh.
that movie again.
That's a good one. Like that movie, that whole movie is fucking quotable. It's so good.
Easily.
Yeah. Oh man, my wife got me for Christmas. She got me this big collector's box set of all the Mel Brooks films on Blu-ray. I didn't even know this shit existed.
Oh, yeah.
And she found that shit on Amazon, and like I opened that up, and like I had a tear in my fucking eye. But it has all of them: Young Frankenstein, Blazing
Lady
Saddles,
Saddles.
Silent Movie, History of the World Part 1, Spaceballs, Men in Tights, all of his movies in this beautiful collector's edition box Blu-ray set with the like booklets talking about each movie. And
Awesome.
Men in
Man,
Tights
it's
was a
fucking awesome.
fucking great movie.
Yeah.
yeah, that was a good one.
Men in
I love the
Tights.
opening when they're like
Tights.
burning up that village, and then people come out and they're like, every time they make a Robin Hood movie, they burn our village down. I'm like, that's fucking awesome.
So Brian, you racing any lately?
Did 2
Yeah.
weeks ago.
Blew it off last weekend, huh?
Yeah, I went to Supercross. That was badass. Supercross in a skybox.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like living the high life over there. Look at this motherfucker.
At the last minute, man.
You don't even have to listen to the motorcycles or nothing, huh?
Huh?
You don't even have to listen to the motorcycles in there,
You didn't
huh?
have to hear, yeah, you didn't have the sound blowing your
No,
ears
you
out up
can
there in your
still
fancy
hear,
ass
but fuck. I mean, it
your
was.
fancy ass box and shit. Waiters bringing you popcorn, fucking massaging your feet, asshole.
It's not his feet that got massaged.
Oh.
Call it happy ending. That was good. It was cool as shit.
Cannot say that I've done that.
You've never been in a suite?
Nope.
For I won.
anything?
I once for Diamondbacks.
I
Thank you, Rose.
won tickets in this week for a Suns game once.
I've seen the.
And then I won a bunch for that bar that they have up there in the arena. They have that bar on the street
yeah.
level.
Okay.
I've won tickets off the radio to watch Suns games in that bar like 4 or 5 times.
Fuck, I've seen.
And that's nice. You have to get it there early so you can snag one of the bar seats that are right along the edge. Otherwise, you're standing in the back pretty much watching.
He's competing for like 5 other people to win those tickets.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Suns aren't doing so well.
It was the fucking
I'm
All-Star
back.
game. When
This
the
is
All-Star
back.
game was in Phoenix back
This
in
is
like
back
the
like
90s.
03, 05 Steve Nash era.
Okay.
Amari Stoudemire, The Matrix is whenever I used to call. I don't call in now. Fuck that shit.
Right.
But I used to be in my truck all the time, driving like pretty much as he's in his fucking truck back in the day. So I was always on the radio. I had the radio playing, and I call in now for tickets. Caller number 9, and then you call, 5 or 6 times a day for a whole week. Eventually, you get one of them, and you win some fucking tickets.
Nice.
Cool. Anybody else? Anybody?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Alrighty.
Throw a shout out to my wife for any listeners out there that are into serial killers, true crime stuff. She started her true crime podcast. She has her
Did she?
Awesome.
She has her first episode up. It's on iTunes, and I'm not sure what other services. I meant to ask her and I forgot. But yeah, she has her first episode up, and I listened to it, and man, that was a fucked up ass dude she did.
Who was
like-
it? Do you remember the name?
I can't remember his name, but it was like sort of like the Cleveland Killer or something. But I was like, this
The Cleveland Steamers?
yeah, the Cleveland Steamers. But this dude was way into decapitation and all kinds of shit. Was actually arrested as a kid, and then went to prison. And in prison, he learned how to even get away with his crime. So when he got out, he was able to do all kinds of crazy shit and not get caught. And
That's usually what
that's usually what happens. But it was fucking good, and I was like, that was really good, babe. But yeah, if you like serial killers or you're into true crime stuff, like those stories and hearing about them, she has her first episode up. She's working on her second.
Throw the link up in the group.
Yeah, it's called Girl Meets Murder.
Oh, nice.
Yep, she has a Twitter account, Instagram too to follow her, and look it up on iTunes and other streaming, other podcast services.
Sweet. Don't forget the contest. We'll throw the address in the description.
Don't forget to send us a thing.
Send us a thing.
Cool.
Money's work.
Yeah.
It is.
I'm just thinking
It falls into the
I'm thinking
classification as thing.
of with how fucked up I am. I'm thinking the shit that I would send you guys if I wasn't a part of this. That I'd want to see Danny fucking open.
Son of a bitch!
Right? That's
Yeah.
there's a
Don't you-
flamethrower in there.
You put no stipulations on it. You're like,
No stipulation.
it can't be like a fucking used can of soda or something.
I was what if it opens up and it's a used condom? It's a thing.
You won't win.
Yeah, you won't win if you do that.
But I mean, just
Let's just say
I'm
the
just
better
trying-
the thing
I'm
And
is,
just
if
trying to
so,
think
it
of-
would hang up over in that corner somewhere.
right over there.
the better the thing is. The
I'm just
more
trying to
like
think of like I wouldn't even care about winning. I just want to see Danny have to open some. See, now I'm gonna have to send some shit in anonymously
You should
that
do
I
it.
could think for Danny to have to open.
We will,
He's like, I will get a bomb sniffing dog. No.
Yeah. if we get anything exciting, then we would definitely be showing it off.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you send something that we're like, damn, that's fucking rad. We'll put it up.
Definitely.
Okay.
All right, guys.
Thank
See
you,
soon.
Texton.
Yep.
Peace.
Now, like my flamethrower list, I had this fucking list going through my head of shit I'm gonna fucking mail to Danny. Because you're like, God damn it, Kale!
What can I burn?
You're gonna see a message pop up in the messenger like, motherfucker,
Like, dude, we
I
can
can't get that shit out now.
Do you usually save those and leave them up, or do you discard them?
I'll leave them up.
Was that me yelling?
Because hell, usually Brian shares it the next day.
Nice.
That's one of the few times that we've gone straight through without a break.
Dude, yeah.
Well, I started realizing that we were at like an hour and 15 minutes, and we're pretty close to
Yeah.
done. That's why I texted John. I'm like, fuck it, let's just plow through, because I knew we didn't have a ton left.
Yeah, since Brian decided not to do any racing, we had a whole segment missed out. Decided to go play instead of do his job.